How are we supposed to make a video about Mary Jane, not talk about Mary Jane? Yeah, a lot of people would enjoy the idea that somebody was going to make a video about them. But with Mary Jane, she just put a spin on it. She saw this as such an opportunity to really promote the agencies and the organizations that she supports. So, I mean, that's sort of typical of her, I think. And so, but it's hard not to talk about her because I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for her. And our agency wouldn't be where it is today.
We're a not-for-profit charitable organization. We believe that every high school student that has the academic qualifications and the desire to attend college should be given that opportunity. And we see our mission as helping to make that a reality for graduates of St. Joseph County high schools.
The mission of the Center for History is to collect, preserve, interpret, and present the history of St. Joseph River Valley for the benefit of all.
Life Treatment Centers is a drug and alcohol treatment center primarily geared to treating the indigent. And what we mean by indigent is folks that would not normally have the resources to be able to afford quality treatment. People can be medically indigent, they can be socially indigent, but that's our primary mission.
The Center for Hospice and Palliative Care improves the quality of living for people in an 8-county area in northern Indiana that have life-limiting progressive illnesses. We also help the families care for their loved one, and we provide grief and bereavement intervention services to anyone in the community.
The mission of the Women's Care Center is truly a mission of hope. Our mission statement says that we hope to give women the opportunity, and that's a key word, the opportunity to choose life for their babies, have healthier pregnancies, and ultimately to become better parents.
Our mission is really to improve the health of the community. We do that by making sure we provide services that improve people's mind, body, and spirit. And that's really the heart, is if the health of the community is improving, then St. Joe's doing its job.
The mission of the Alcohol and Addictions Resource Center is to reduce and prevent alcohol and other drug abuse through prevention education, information and referral and intervention services.
The mission at Logan is to support people with developmental disabilities to achieve their desired quality of life. That might sound like a mouthful, but we're there to support those families and those people throughout their whole life to achieve as much potential as they can. To be part of this community, not separate from it.
Well, volunteers are truly the lifeblood of the organization. I mean, without them, we just could not survive.
We use a lot of volunteers, and we use them in many ways, all the way from the board of directors and committees to direct service for people.
Most of us will be touched by someone in our family or close to us with an addictions issue. So to be able to come in and talk with folks that are there trying to get their lives back together, and for our volunteers, I think feeling they have some small piece in helping someone else try to get their life back together again.
Volunteers are a big help to our agency. We are a very small not-for-profit. We have 5 full-time staff members. And we have a 24-member board of directors, and they're all volunteers, and they're critical to us getting the job done.
It's interesting for us as a Medicare covered agency. The federal law actually requires us to use a certain percentage of volunteers. We use volunteers in a wide variety of ways, from people who will serve patients in their own homes to people who may serve patients in the nursing home and hospice house. We have a volunteer board of directors. We have various committees.
Our entire board, all of our directors are volunteers. They are non-paid.
We rely heavily on volunteers. We have adult, teenage, college students, and senior citizens who volunteer over 200,000 hours last year alone. And that would be millions of dollars of labor that we'd have to replace.
I've never tried to put a dollar figure to it, but clearly we couldn't do all that we do without their dedicated service.
South Bend is one of the most wonderful, benevolent communities I've ever experienced. And it's truly an example for other communities to see of what volunteerism can do. And what it can do is it supplements and it assists And it makes sure that causes that sometimes are left to the wayside because of economic pressures do get fulfilled and do get satisfied. And that's what volunteerism does, is that it really helps a community thrive.
I think Mary Jane sets high standards for volunteers in that she gives and gives and gives. I think that she has a tremendous amount of talent, and what she's done is looked at different ways to channel that talent and energy. She finds agencies and programs where she believes in their mission and their purpose, and then she puts all of her energy into that.
I understand I'm one of 8 organizations that she's spending a tremendous amount of time with. It's amazing to me. You know, I think that she really embodies the spirit of volunteerism, and I think that benefits the community by forcing each of us that know her to ask ourselves, you know, what more can I be doing to make a difference?
Yeah, I think if we're really going to honor Mary Jane, we need to honor her in the sense that her work is an example for the rest of us. And that's the greatest honor I think anybody could ask for.
For us, she came along at a critical time too, especially when she was in a leadership role. We couldn't have built the new Logan Center, which is relatively new in our community, without her leadership, both as a board president, but also behind the scenes. She really brought her skill and her drive to help us do the hard work of fundraising. It's not easy, and she knows how to roll up her sleeves. She knows how to do it. She's very good at that.
You know, what stood out for me is here's the person who does the work. Quiet, pleasant, friendly, but I knew that she was really going to work, and I knew that she was, and I'd heard, but I could see she's the kind of person that gets the job done and really would help us further our mission.
Okay, Mary Jane was very warm and passionate and energetic, and I think probably the thing across time for me with Mary Jane is that no idea was ever too crazy. When it came to trying to do something new, something different, Mary Jane is always kind of thinking outside the box.
She's one of the treasures of our community through her years of involvement and dedication and commitment and leadership to a wide variety of really good causes, and she certainly made a tremendous difference.
Many of her volunteer work may seem like it's very far apart, but I think it all centralizes on one theme, and that is how can we really help the community be a bright and vibrant community.
If there were 1,000 Mary Janes, we would all be, our lives would all be much more enriched.
I think that Mary Jane realizes somewhere that the good things that happen in life, or the good things that happen within a community, happen because somebody takes action to make those happen. Certainly there's a lot of tremendous excuses not to get involved. Some people are afraid to get involved. There's the fear factor. But I think Mary Jane puts action above excuses, puts commitment above fear, and realizes that one person getting involved can make the difference, and one person has to start the ball rolling.
She is, she's just an incredible woman. She has a presence. I think there are people that speak to you with their eyes. And I think that's how Mary Jane is. You can tell right away when you meet her what's important to her. She is a very capable person. She is genuine.
She is an angel among us. She is an angel to our community. I mean, she teaches us how to live. She teaches us how to give. I mean, she does guide us on with the light of love. I mean, that's Mary Jane. Goodness,
Integrity.
Caring.
Enthusiastic.
I knew you were going to ask this question. I knew that I was going to be asked to give one word. I just knew it. So I decided to think about it because I tried to come up with the one word for Mary Jane. But I had a list.
I would have to I'm going to use a hyphenated word, make up word here, love-filled. And I think by that, I just think Mary Jane becomes who she is every day by all the gifts that she gives out to everybody else.
I think the word is genuine. She's a truly sincere and genuine person that is a real joy and pleasure to work with. I wish she were always in my foxhole. Let's put it that way.